People with disabilities, particularly severe disabilities, were sitting in institutions watching the civil rights movement of the 60s, watching the women's rights movement of the 70s, and saying, why not us? And so there was a groundswell around the country that took most of the 70s and even some of the 60s to generate what was known as Centers for Independent Living, which is what Alpha-1 is. And founded in '78, we actually were one of the first 10 states funded by the national government to receive Center for Independent Living funding. And Alpha-1 actually started out being known as Adapted Living Programs for Handicapped Americans back in 1978 when it was founded, and that ALPHA is an acronym for that title. The federal government requires that a Center for Independent Living be consumer controlled, as we refer to it. As such, our board is a majority of people with disabilities, and our staff has a number of people with disabilities. We actively look for qualified individuals with disabilities to work. And by having that presence at the board level and staff level, and always listening to the people we serve, we stay grounded in what the needs are, and we pick those things up, and that's how we look for resources to create programs that meet the needs expressed by the community. And we began delivering services in 1979. Our core services, our peer support, were based on a self-help peer model. We teach independent living skills to people who may not have learned those things because they were protected or institutionalized. We advocate for people, and we teach them how to advocate for themselves. And we also, our fourth core service is information and referral. And I would say we're probably one of the best in the country at providing disability-related information to people with disabilities and the general public. So those are our earliest programs. We actually also created a personal assistance service program way back in '78, '79 in conjunction with public policymakers at the state level, so that young people with disabilities who would typically have been in nursing homes could now receive care at home, and they could build a life because they could now work, go to school, raise a family, whatever it might be that everyone else wants to do, with that independence that we've been promoting ever since. So that was one of our early pilot programs with 15 people. We now have about 650 people statewide doing the same thing. So, additionally, one of our older programs is adaptive driver evaluation, where someone can be assessed to determine if now they have a disability, they're actually able to drive with or without adaptive equipment. I like to say that people with disabilities, even today, despite all the changes that have been made, live a life of low expectations. If you become disabled, people don't expect you to work. They expect you to stay home, they expect you to be taken care of, and that's why disability has such a negative connotation. If someone becomes disabled, they go, oh, how am I going to live now? My life is over. And it's not. That's one of the things we do is your life isn't over, it's just going to be different.